Jumped across, swam across for you. Oh, what a thing to do. When you were all yellow, I drew a line. I drew a line for you. Oh, what a thing to do. And it was called yellow. Yeah, skin, oh yeah, skin and bones turn into something beautiful. You know the you, I bleed myself dry. For you, I bleed myself dry. And it's true. Look how they shine for you. 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 Look how they shine. Look at the stars. Look how they shine for you. And all the things that you do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's awards time.
For a final winning lunch of the Golf Days, Longhouse Poet has won it.
I wanna run to the end of the world.
Conflated has won the Paddy Power Irish Gold Cup.
Sir Gerhard is equally as impressive at the Dublin Racing Festival.
It's going to be a 12th Weatherby's champion bumper, Facile Vega in a rout.
And Bob Ollinger is 3 out of 3 over fences and wins the Turners.
And Flooring Water will retain his crown.
It's Brandy Love who missed Cheltenham but doesn't miss in Fairy House.
I wanna feel invincible. One more mile, I will print.
For the 150th Boy Sports Irish National, Dermot McLaughlin has done it again.
One crossroad can change it all. I'm gonna run, run, run. Bye bye problems. Run till the road hits the sea. You better run, run, run. If you wanna be.
Far more significantly, 2,000 winners in the Golf Land Rover bumper for Gordon Elliott. But Facile Vega, he's classy and he's tough. He's won the champion bumper. And Marie's Rock is going to take the grade 1. Marie's Rock has won it.
You might think it's far away. It's not as far away as it seems. You might think it's far away from here.
It's going to be another Tanasaur 1,000 guineas for Dermot Webb. Homeless Songs has won, and how?
You're gonna find me. You better run, run, run. If you wanna be free.
dual Grade 1 bumper winner is a Grade 1 winner over hurdles as well. Facile Vegas won the future champions. Up towards the line for Jigginstown, Gordon Elliott, Jack Kennedy punches the air, Conflated has won the Savills.
Run to the end of the world just to see if it's possible.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, some great moments there. We're going to relive some of them throughout the rest of the next hour and a half. Would you please welcome back to our stage our Master of Ceremonies, Leo Powell.
Your Highnesses, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good night, or even good morning to you wherever you are in the world. Whether you are here in a packed heritage resort at the heart of Ireland, or throughout the island, in Europe, or elsewhere in the world for a live stream of the Irish Thoroughbred Breeders Association Awards for 2022, I offer you a Céad Míle Fáilte, 100,000 welcomes. We have an exciting 90 minutes or so ahead of us as we celebrate the best of 2022 with 14 special awards which are exclusively designed for us by the genius that is Ronan Halpin. Now, if we could have your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen, we really would appreciate it just for this part of the evening. Before we start, I have two thanks to offer, and they are to our interlude musician, Anthony Ward, who's left the stage, and to the entire team here at the hotel who have cooked and served us with some outstanding fare. Thank you on all of our behalf. With the assistance now of Danielle Devaney, who has joined me on stage, it's on with the show. Just as we did last time, we start off tonight with a great story. Firstly, I would like to invite Sharon O'Regan from Weatherby's to join us for this presentation. Sharon is here with her husband Shane and guests, and she leads a team in Naas who provide our industry with a number of essential services. For dinosaurs such as myself, it is such a pleasure to watch young people come into the business, make inroads, and reap the rewards of their efforts. The next generation part of the ITBA encourages these young people, creates an environment for them to share ideas, and provides a means to get to know each other. The winner of this year's New Generation Award is a name to remember if you don't know it already. Here is a man going places.
You see, tonight it could go either way. Hearts balanced on a razor blade.
There are many young Irish people coming through the ranks and starting to make their mark on the bloodstock industry, and one such emerging talent is Micheál Connahan.
Yeah, so Micheál is trained in every facet in the sector, really, between, jockeys to cool a race and working for Desi Hughes, between doing the breeze-ups with Con Mornan and John Foley in Ballyvolane, doing the stud course here on the breeding side. He's obviously got the point-to-pointers, he's got store horses, national hunt, flat, breezers. Everything comes to him, and because he's got that experience and having worked for all those different facets of the industry, so he's turned his hand to every part of the sector. And it'll be really interesting to see whether he specialises in one of those going forward, or whether he keeps going the way he's going and has a hand in all parts of the sector. And he can do either. It's great for him.
Mainly we sell national hunt 3-year-olds for the last couple of years. We had 20 last year, we have about 16 or 17 this year. Kind of trying to diversify and have flat yearlings to sell in the fall, a handful of breeze-up horses hopefully to sell in the spring, and then during the summer months hopefully our main bulk of national hunt 3-year-olds. Without doubt, the most prominent horse we've bred so far is Paisley Park for Emma Laville. We sold him as a foal. He's just a real character. You'd really enjoy him racing. When you think he's bet, he just keeps on plugging away, and we got a great kick out of him winning over the Christmas there in the long walk hurdle. Everybody had wrought him off and said he's finished, and for him to come back and win another great one, it was class.
Amazing year, 2022 for Mihal, obviously, with Absolute Notions. I think everybody came to recognise him on a larger scale this year after the Land Rover at Punchestown. But it's a great story, you know, a horse that he bought as a foal, tried to sell as a store horse, but had the guts to keep the horse, put the colours on him, train him himself, and then got the great touch of winning at the Punchestown Festival.
And it's Absolute Notions now who's gone to the front from Miss Augusta and then Jumping Susie, and as they race inside the closing stages, Absolute Notions for Declan Lavery, but far more significantly, 2,000 winners in the Goffs Land Rover bumper for Gordon Elliott. It's Absolute Notions for a Punchestown four-timer.
Arse that we couldn't sell in the Land Rover, and he went on to win the Land Rover bumper. Absolute Notions seems to be a promising young horse.
I suppose an even bigger touch is selling him 2 days later at the sale for 370,000.
We had a great Land Rover sale then on the back of it. We had 6 horses there, all of them sold, and we had our first 6-figure lot at the Land Rover sale. And then the yearling sales kept on giving. They were marvellous. We sold every yearling that we had, including we had a lovely Ballardo in book 1 that also made 6 figures.
You know, it's been a 15-year story for him, you know, from school, growing up on the farm at home and working with his grandfather and his father.
My granddad is probably the biggest influence to me. He introduced me and brought me to the sales when I was a small lad, selling foals in November and Tattersalls, and when the mares were getting covered in the spring on a Saturday morning, you'd jump into the Jeep and head for my with him. And I don't know, I suppose he's my role model, or he is the man that started me out on my adventures.
He's built up a portfolio of experience over a really long period of time, and it's brilliant to see the results coming through in 2022 and plenty more to come from.
What we've achieved last year and in the last couple of years, selling even winners anywhere, like, is get as much a kick out of that as we do getting money from. That's actually probably more like getting to go and watch them in the likes of Cheltenham or anywhere. Is like, that's what we do it for, like that, definitely, when they go on and when you back yourself and they go and reward you, there's no feeling like it.
And like, the future is very bright for him, and it's great for the industry that we can attract people like Mihal to stay in it and to be a firm part of it all.
I'm very fortunate to say I found something I loved, and lucky that I can do it.
Well, setting a high standard for the night, would you please give your best reception to Mihal Connahan? I can tell you the industry has a bright future with talent such as Mihal involved, and we offer him our best wishes for the future. Of course, our thanks to Sharon and Weatherby's for their contribution, and please pass on our best wishes to Russell Ferris. Well, we know who's won the Popularity Award tonight anyway. Well done, Mihal. Now, we move on to an award, the winner of which I hope will be back again and again for more in the years ahead. The Irish National Stud sponsors this, and that body and my own employer, the Agricultural Trust, share a common chairman, Matt Dempsey. I will shortly ask Matt to hand over the trophy to the owners and breeders of what I consider to be the best young talent in national hunt racing.
The Hammer and Trowel Syndicate experienced every owner's dream with their champion mare, Quavega, and now they are living every breeder's dream as they look to have bred a superstar in her son, Facile Vega. The Willie Mullins trained gelding runs in the red and blue colours of the Syndicate, made famous by his multiple Grade 1 winning dam, and word was out early that the son of Walk in the Park was special. His debut was awaited with bated breath, and an impressive victory at Leopardstown over the Christmas festival meant he was a short price favourite for the Grade 2 bumper on Dublin Racing Festival weekend.
There's no holding a candle to Facile Vega here. Has absolutely accelerated away from Sandor Clegane. Carnfunnock is next in racing inside the final half furlong of the Goss Future Stars. INH Grade 2 bumper Facile Vega is making it 2 out of 2 here at Leopardstown, bringing up a fabulous four-timer for Willie Mullen.
The Cheltenham Festival was next, and Facile Vega revisited memories of his dam with an easy success under a delighted Patrick Mullins.
With Facile Vega looming up to come alongside. Seabank Bistro is next into the straight, followed by James's Gate and then Authorised Speed. And Facile Vega has stormed to the front here. Moves on from American Mike. James's Gate in third is still staying on. They've got 200 yards to cover, and it's Facile Vega and Patrick Mullins, and more significantly, Willie Mullins. It's going to be a 12th Weatherby's champion bumper. Facile Vega in a rout.
They don't like me, they want to fight me. Come on, try it out.
The 4-year-old rounded off his bumper career with a second Grade 1 success, this time at the Punchestown Festival, to remain unbeaten in his 4 career starts.
Racing to the final furlong, and it's Redemption Day and Jody Townend on the near side of stable companions Facile Vega and Patrick Mullins. Facile Vega's finding on the far side from Redemption Day, pulling well clear of American Mike. Facile Vega from Redemption Day. Facile Vega wins it by a length.
Facile Vega looks one of the most exciting young National Hunt horses we've seen in years, and many congratulations to his owner breeders.
Well, now, unfortunately, one half of the Hammer and Trowel syndicate, Sean Dean, is unable to be here tonight. I'm not sure if he's the hammer or the trowel, but I'm thrilled that my near neighbour in Donadee is. So please give it up for Ger O'Brien. It's great to welcome Maria as well, and Mert, so well done, Ger, well done. After the great days of Quevega, could Sean and Ger have ever imagined that she would go on to produce such an immense talent? Delighted also to welcome Ger's wife Maria and their guests, and wish them and Sean the best with Facile Vega for the remainder of the season. And our thanks to Matt and of course the CEO of the National Stud, Cathal Beale, for the sponsorship. Ladies and gentlemen, the connections of Facile Vega. A pint in Connolly's up the road secured for me. Now, fresh from sponsorship of the Thyestes Chase, rebranding the Goffs Arkle sale, from which this award winner is a graduate, and anticipating their February sale on the 8th and the 9th of next month, Henry Beebe will join us on stage to present the award for the Novice Hurdler of 2022. As well as celebrating the talent of the horse who earned the accolade, this award is also a reminder of a talent we lost.
The talent of Sir Gerhard has burned bright on our race courses, and in doing so has shone a light on his much-missed breeder, Jonathan Fitzpatrick. Jonathan tragically lost his life in 2017 at just 23 years of age, and never got to witness the talent of his homebred son of Jeremy, but he has left an appropriate legacy of his passion and ambition in this year's ITBA Novice Hurdler. Running in the famous red, white and blue of Cheveley Park Stud, Sir Gerhard had already announced himself as a force to be reckoned with the previous year when winning the Cheltenham Champion Bumper, and he converted that talent to jumping under the care of champion trainer Willie Mullins. After winning his maiden hurdle at Leopardstown over Christmas, he returned to the track for the Dublin Racing Festival, where he was a 6th-length winner of the Grade 1 Novice hurdle when beating Three Stripes Life.
Gerhard and Paul Townend in front of Three Stripe Life and Davy Russell, who's now hard at work. There's 2 lengths between them as they come to the final flight. And Sir Gerhard has been asked to stretch from Three Stripe Life, who's not lying down. Back in third is Colonel Mustard as they head for the final flight. It's Sir Gerhard in front from Three Stripe Life. Sir Gerhard over. A mistake by Three Stripe Life inside the final furlong, and it's Sir Gerhard pulling away from Three Stripe Life. Sir Gerhard is equally as impressive at the Dublin Racing Festivals. 3 Grade 1s on day 2 for Paul Townend and Willie Mullins.
The pride of Keatingstown stud beat the same rivals once again at Cheltenham when he added a 2nd festival title to his roll of honour in the Grade 1 Ballymore Novices Hurdle.
Final flight of hurdles, Sir Gerhard. Good leaps all the way round. At the final flight, Journey With Me as a faller leaving in 2nd place. Three Stripe Life is only 3 lengths behind. Sir Gerhard having to work hard in the closing stages. It's been tiring ground today. Sir Gerhard and Paul Townend have won the Ballymore.
A graduate of the world-renowned Irish National Stud Breeding Management course, where a scholarship now proudly bears his name, Jonathan Fitzpatrick's memory lives on through this gelding, and Sir Gerhard is a fitting tribute to him.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan will never be forgotten, and his short life, as Brendan reminded us there, is also remembered with an award at the Irish National Stud. Tonight we welcome his parents, Joe and Sharon, to receive this trophy in his memory. Now, as you can imagine, we were delighted to see Sir Gerhard make a winning debut over fences on Thursday at Gowran Park. He did connections a heart flutter or 2, and of course he is part of an amazing army of talent with Willie Mullins, who also of course trains Facile Vega as well. So thank you to Henry. I hope you, Vanessa, and your guests have a lovely evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fitzpatrick family. Well, these are exciting times at Rathbarry Stud, where State of Rest is embarking on his new career at Stud. And Catherine Cashman, who I believe tried hard to sell a nomination to the now King Charles when they met at Royal Ascot, well, she's going to join us for this award. It goes to a breeder who must have a very large trophy cabinet, given the number of Grade 1 winners he produces.
Renowned veterinary surgeon Ken Parkhill has many strings to his bow. Not only is the Mead man the breeder of this year's ITBA Novice Chaser of the Year, Bob Ollinger, as well as breeding the dam, the 2nd dam, and the 3rd dam of the Grade 1 winning hurdler and chaser, but he also rode, owned, and trained the 4th dam to win the Punchestown Champion bumper back in 1979. Indeed, that very mare, Sharpaway, was bought by Ken's father Marshall for just 700 guineas to mark the occasion of his son qualifying as a vet, so it is fitting that this family is still bearing fruit in the shape of Bob Ollinger. A dual Grade 1 winning hurdler, all eyes were always going to be on the son of Sholikoff when he eventually turned his hand to chasing. After winning his first start over fences at Goran Park the previous year, Henry de Bromhead's charge produced a fine display of jumping to take the Grade 3 Kildare Novices Chase at Punchestown in January.
Over in front is Bob Ollinger and Rachel Blackmore careering away from Capodanno. Bob Ollinger is hardly breaking sweat here and confirms himself as a leading novice chaser.
He only had 3 rivals to beat when he turned up to the Cheltenham Festival in the Turner's Novices Chase on a rain-soaked track, and he did so at ease, winning the Grade 1 by 40 lengths following the fall of Galopin Des Champs at the last.
He knuckles on landing and he is down. Galopin Des Champs is down at the last, and Bob Ollinger has been left clear with the race on a plate. Bob Ollinger now coming up the hill in the hands of Rachel Blackmore. How fortuitous is he? He is the one who's putting the clear round, and Bob Ollinger is 3 out of 3 over fences and wins the Turners.
A versatile performer, the 7-year-old can turn his hand equally to hurdling or chasing in the future, and has continued on Ken Parkhill's graduation gift for yet another generation.
Well, Ken Parkhill has enjoyed amazing success as a breeder, and no one has a Cheltenham Festival Grade 1 record as good as he has for the past number of years. Please give him a warm welcome to accept his latest award, Ken Parkhill. Well, echoing a few comments that Brendan made there about the family, an interesting little fact is that Bob Ollinger's dam, Zenaid, was bred by Ken, and 17 years ago, trained by his wife Lulu, ridden by their son Peter. She won a bumper at Cork on her first start and was beaten a short head on her only other run. So Bob Ollinger's out again tomorrow at Naas. We wish Connections well. Thanks to Catherine, Neve and Paul at Rathbarry and Glenview. Well done, Ken Parkhill. Here's an award that will be celebrated. Simon Kearns is up next, representing Tattersalls Ireland, and this week they staged their first sale of the year. Don't be fooled either by the fact that their February sale is a one-day affair on Tuesday, which of course is the last day of January. So if you're looking for the February sale, make sure to turn up a day early. We wouldn't want you to miss it. This is the second year in a row that this horse has won the award, and we would have had to initiate the most popular horse award if he didn't get this one.
One of the most popular and well-celebrated winners at this awards ceremony last year was Galway man Sean Murphy's homebred Flooring Porter. The West will be awake once again this year, as the son of Yates is the ITBA Hurdler of the Year for the second year in a row. The 2 runs after his first Steers Hurdle success did not go Flooring Porter's way, but the gelding ended 2021 with a second place in the Grade 1 Christmas Hurdle at Leopardstown.
Down and from Flooring Porter, burning victory over remote third. Inside the final 150 yards is Classical Dream in front from Flooring Porter, who's still trying very hard.
But the main target was always to retain his Steers Hurdle crown, and trainer Gavin Cromwell brought him to Cheltenham full of confidence under a brilliant Danny Mullins.
Flooring Porter, the reigning champion, takes off 2 lengths clear. Classical Dream on all fours. Then behind these, Time Hill and Champ. Flooring Porter having a look around, but has a 3-length lead here in the stayers. And Flooring Porter will retain his crown as Paisley Park presses Time Hill for second.
The celebrations afterwards will go down in Cheltenham Festival history and were followed by a night Connections say they will never forget. The West definitely did not get any sleep that night, and there will probably be more sleepless nights for the Flooring Porter fan club in the run-up to Cheltenham Festival again this year.
It's you and me. It's you and me.
Well, I think it's doubly pleasurable that the recipient of this award is one of the ITBA's most committed members and their leader in the west of Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, please salute Sean Murphy. Flooring Porter is out of a mare called Lily Mile, and she too was a Sean Murphy homebred, a winning pointer. She won a couple of hurdle races when trained by Sean's neighbour Pauline Gavin. And I believe we have Gavin and Kiva Cromwell here with us tonight. We wish them well in their efforts to get to Cheltenham again. And the party starts after the chairs hurl. And our best wishes to Simon and all the team as well for the sale on Tuesday. We have yet another repeat winner now for the Chaser of the Year award, sponsored by our great friend and the ever-supportive Declan Landy. If you want a man to fence you in, he is the one. He and Josephine are very welcome this evening, and last year the winning connections were unable to join us. Tonight, I'm delighted to say, is different.
All eyes were firmly focused on Shiskin when the Supreme Novice Hurdle winner made the move to novice chasing, and he did not disappoint then, so there was even more focus on the son of Sholokov as he embarked on his second season over fences. The Nicky Henderson trained gelding returned to the track after a 261-day absence in the Desert Orchid Chase at the Kempton Christmas meeting when he won by a decisive 10 lengths.
Shishkin from Grenadine, and then Sky Pirates before midnight. The final fence, Shishkin, he's over safely. Grenadine lands in second, Sky Pirate back in third, then before midnight. It's a winning return to action for Shishkin, who wins the Desert Orchid Chase. He's 6 out of 6 over fences.
The 8-year-old followed up less than a month later with victory over an Ergoman in the Grade 1 Clarence House Chase at Ascot.
Shishkin coming under pressure now. Can he pick up? Energumen is holding him at the moment. One more fence to go here. Energumen on the inside. Shishkin, though, is trying hard to rein him back. One good jump from either of them. Energumen the leader, but Shishkin is motoring down the outside now. Energumen by 2 lengths. Shishkin closing the gap with every stride. Energumen and Shishkin, this is what we wanted. And Shishkin delivers and beats Energumen.
Diagnosed with a bone condition after being pulled up in the champion chase, Shiskin has since made a return to the track, and racing fans are hopeful he will light up our racecourses once more this season. Bred by the Bennetts, the ITBA Novice Chaser of last year becomes this year's Chaser of the Year.
Ladies and gentlemen, to accept the award in person on this occasion, would you give a great Irish welcome to Carolyn Bennett? Actually, this is the 3rd national award won by the Bennetts for Shishkin, as he also got one as a hurdler. What an achievement, and I notice that Carolyn is on the Rathbarry table, and of course their National Hunt Division, Glenview, stands Shishkin's sire, Sholokov. So our thanks a million to Declan for the sponsorship, and once again, our congratulations to the Bennetts. And just a small reminder again, ladies and gentlemen, just a little bit of quiet when the awards are happening would be really appreciated. Ballylynch Studs' John O'Connor is up next for the Small Breeder Award, and they've attached appropriately their name to this award, and the reason for that, why it's so appropriate, you'll find out. While he is a modest man, the winner of this award has made more than one outstanding contribution to the industry. Here's his story.
Tom Lacey wins the Small Breeder of the Year award tonight, but his achievements over his lifetime have been numerous. He started his career riding 50 winners on the flat, but he was best known as a jockey through his association with the Top Jumps race mare, Height of Fashion.
I rode my first winner about 73 years ago in the Phoenix Park. Yeah, I rode a Cesarewitz winner in the year after, and well, that's where I won. Raced her second twice in the national to Arkle and Flying Boat. Second is to them.
A successful switch to training saw Tom train hundreds of winners around Ireland, and among his best were Scroll and Bodell, from whom Tom bred group-winning sprinter Ingabel, who he trained to win the Keeneland Phoenix Sprint Stakes at the Phoenix Park.
Ingabel, well, we bred her and trained her and won listed and group races with her. And then we sold her. John O'Connor bought her, Ballylynch, and he was very lucky with her. She bred very good horses, very good animals, yeah.
I mean, Tom epitomises the small breeder. He bred his own, he trained them, his sons rode them, Tony and Barry.
Dad is possibly the hardest working person that I've ever known. He's 87 now, and he's as busy now as he was when he was 37. He's always taught us punctuality, get on with it, you know. He just taught you the basics, the proper basics. Do the small things right and the rest will follow.
Tom provided his sons Barry and Tony with many victories on the track in the famous Lacey colours of light blue and yellow. And he was also the first man to spot and nurture the talents of local boy Pat Smullen, guiding the legendary rider to 2 apprentice championships while riding for Tom.
He gave Pat a great start on many of his homebreds in Pat's at the very start of his career, so we go back a long way.
In latter years, Tom has concentrated on breeding, and his purchase of Vida Amoroso has proved inspired. The Lope de Vega mare bred Gubas as her first foal, but her second foal proved to be a real star in the shape of Persian Force.
It's Persian Force, a couple of lengths clear. Show Respect is chasing, but he's chasing in vain. Persian Force, an irresistible force, wins the July Stakes.
The first foal she had was a smashing foal, and he said we'll go back again, which I never go back the second time, and that's what we had. Persian Force, yeah, you know. So it was just funny how he came around, but that's how he came.
You know, this area, to have 3 Group 1 winners bred in this area last year is, you know, that's just been phenomenal as well. His family are doing so well as well, you know. You have Tony, Vice President of Keeneland, and Barry, you know, I think he's going to be a name to watch in the bloodstock industry in the future as well.
Barry and I do the whole thing. Do everything, yeah.
We get on well most times, yeah. It's a usual father-son relationship. We disagree on a lot of things, but we finally decide that Dad's way is the best way. We do that way the first way, and then we'll go back and do it the second way maybe. But we got on really well, actually, yeah. I have my brother Tony and 3 other sisters, and he's he's been great to all of us, you know. So it's only when you become a parent that you realise how much your parents do for you, you know.
Ably assisted by his family over the years, especially his wife Peg.
She is just the backbone of them all. I mean, when Pat started riding, Peg was acting as his agent, his mum as well at times, you know, when because he spent so much time over in the Lacey's. So, you know, Peg is obviously a great woman behind a great man.
I don't know where Dad would be without Mum, because they worked really, really well together. And yeah, Mum has been fantastic. She really has.
Oh, well, only for her she'd be in trouble.
Well, this could not be a more prouder moment to congratulate my dad on something that's, you know, a lifetime of effort is breeding, training. But, you know, over the last year with Persian Force, you know, been having the opportunity to sponsor the Phoenix Stakes in the Curragh, and having him and all my family there as well as the breeder of Persian Force. Fortunately, didn't win that day, but it's an achievement that we all valued so much. And again, it was a culmination of a lifetime of effort. And again, to be here in my new workplace of Keeneland, to be hosting the Breeders' Cup, and the first Breeders' Cup race, having Persian Force run on it, again, for a small breeder, it's a massive achievement, and could not be more proud.
Tom Lacey has had a hugely successful life and career as one of Ireland's finest horsemen.
Well, as Francis pointed out, the Midlands of Ireland has bred many Group 1 winners, and last year was a particularly great one. But this man breeds and nurtures Group 1 human talent too. It's a pleasure to welcome to the stage Tom Lacey. Now, Tom and Peg are joined by many family members tonight, and the term family indeed extends to some others in their group who are not blood relatives. Tom enjoys great respect from everyone in the business. We wish him continued good health, happiness, and success. And our thanks to John and Angela O'Connor for this sponsorship and the contribution you continue to make to the association. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Lacey. Tom is trying to sell John another one. We're halfway there, ladies and gentlemen. Next up is the 2-year-old Filly of the Year award. Kildangan Stud was one of the busiest spots during the recent ITM Stallion Trail, and Darley sponsored the first of our flat awards. Thanks to Joe Osborne for this sponsorship, and he has nominated stud director Jimmy Hyland to present it. The award goes to a filly who took our breath away on a Sunday in September.
His Highness the Aga Khan's breeding operation is the envy of many breeders around the world, and 2022 saw him produce yet another star of the track. In a year that saw the Aga Khan studs celebrate 100 years of racing and breeding, their 2-year-old homebred filly Tahira simply stole the show. The daughter of Sayuni made her debut in a 7-furlong maiden at Galway, favoured by her trainer Dermot Weld as a starting point for some of his other talented charges in the past, such as dance design, and Tahira's half-sister Tarnawa. She quite literally blew the competition away that day when winning by 5.5 lengths.
Tahira hits the front. In second place is Remind and Darhouse, who's staying on into second place possibly, but out clear is Tahira. Tahira is a first on the board for Dermot Well, has won impressively from Darhouse Remind.
That performance was so impressive that her trainer sent her straight into Group 1 company in a hot edition of the Moidler Stud Stakes on a rain-soaked Curragh on Irish Champions Weekend. Tahira lit up the day when reeling in the hot favourite Meditate to win by over 2 lengths under a confident ride from Chris Hayes.
Chased by market rival Tahira as they race inside the final furlong. It's Meditate with coming on the outside Tahira, and it's Tahira running down Meditate. This is stunning as Tahira makes it a perfect 2 out of 2.
A true Aga Khan homebred, Tahira's 5th dam was bought by His Highness in the early 70s. Dreams of next year's classics will no doubt be keeping her connections warm throughout the long winter.
Well, all you can say is wow. In a year that the Aga Khan studs celebrated their centenary, what a win that was. It's a great honour for this awards evening to welcome to the stage Princess Zara Aga Khan. Zara is bringing up the reinforcements. Dermot Well, of course, winning trainer, and Pat Downs, the manager of Giltown Stud on the Irish Farms. Now our sincere thanks to Jimmy, to Joe and your large team here tonight for the sponsorship. Now, we don't normally speak with individual award winners in the horse category, but I'm sure you will understand that we make an exception on this occasion.
You're very welcome to the awards this evening. Wonderful to have you here. How special was it to have a Group 1 winning filly like Tahira by your own stallion, Siuni, and in such a special year?
It was wonderful, Leo. It was a really, really amazing day. We actually had an amazing year for the stallions, but for the 2-year-olds, for the 3-year-olds, and I spent most of the year thinking about my grandfather and my great-grandfather, and my father, of course, but he's still around and watching the racing.
Now, your presence at the Curragh on Moidler Stud Stakes gave us some inkling that maybe you had a bit of inside information that she was a little bit special. Would that be true?
People on the stage with us had kind of mentioned her.
They do keep you informed?
A bit, yes. Sometimes, often.
Now, you're starting the next century with not even just one, maybe 2 classic hopes. There might be a little colt there that we might develop. You have Vadeni, who is a wonderful year for him. You have a wonderful sire roster. Which of all of those gives you most pleasure, and which are you looking forward to for this year?
That's like asking a parent who their favourite child is.
Okay, what's your favourite child?
No, look, I think we're going into this year with a lot of optimism. Obviously, I mean, these are horses and things can go right and things can go wrong. I mean, we have to hope that everything will go well and that everyone will get through the year, fine. But it's absolutely amazing to go into year 101 with such a lovely range of hopes amongst the young stock and for the stallions and the 3-year-olds and hopefully 2 4-year-olds who have some nice prospects. So, yes. And I really think it's incredible that it happened last year. Going into next year, I really think about my forebears.
Absolutely. And can I just recommend that if you haven't had an opportunity to see it, the film made to celebrate the year is very special.
Thank you, Leo. They were, Fanny and Dimitri followed us around, and they were very patient. It was COVID, and they went above and beyond, and it was really fun to do. And I think it really shows that we're a team and that lots of us work together, and every single person in the organization is part of the successes and also the quiet times. So I like the film because it shows every aspect of what breeding and racing is.
Well, all I can say is on our behalf, our best wishes to you, to your father, of course, who was one of the first members of the Hall of Fame, one of my most enjoyable nights in Kilmainham, crashing your party. I think we ended up in a club in Dublin afterwards, if I remember. And, of course, to your teams in Ireland and France. And may I just also extend a particular warm welcome to your mum who's with us tonight. Not only is she joining us, but she's doing so on her birthday. So our congratulations to you, Princess Celia. And thank you very much for you. That's wonderful. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Princess Zara Aga Khan.
Now, for the 2-year-old Colt of the Year award. And for the first time, it's a pleasure to welcome Keeneland Sales as sponsors, and Tony Lacey, one of those Group 1 winning humans I referred to earlier, bred by Tom and Peg, is their Vice President of Sales. His company sponsors the Group 1 Phoenix Stakes at the Curragh, a race he watched with mixed feelings last year as Persian Force, bred by his father, found one too good for him on the day.
No Nay Never had an excellent year in 2022 with his 2-year-olds, but one star shone brighter than the rest. The Aidan O'Brien trained Little Big Bear has not put a foot wrong since his second start at Naas when he was an impressive 3-length winner of his maiden.
Little Big Bear, bit of a break to keep up with my Empire, and then Laringel, wakening his Bossy Parker, and it's Little Big Bear who's coming to pick it up from Alexis Zorba. Little Big Bear just touched off on debut, wins at odds on. Second, Alexis Zorba.
Bred by the Hyde family's Camas Park stud and Summerhill in County Tipperary, the striking colt followed that performance up with success in the listed Windsor Castle Stakes at Royal Ascot.
Racing alongside, but on the near side, it's still Eddie's boy who's got lead. Rocket Rodney has also got every chance now towards the near side. On the far side, that is Little Big Bear. They're now inside the final furlong, and it is Rocket Rodney who's now being tackled by Little Big Bear. Little Big Bear has just taken the lead as they race up towards the line. Little Big Bear has won in second.
Running in the famous purple and white silks of Derek Smith, Little Big Bear stepped up in grade again when winning the Group 3 Anglesey Stakes at the Curragh by just under 5 lengths. But the son of No Nay Never saved the best for what was to be his last performance of his 2-year-old career when a 7-length winner of the Group 1 Keeneland Phoenix Stakes from Persian Force.
Is Little Big Bear still shading it, and now quickens away from Bradsell, followed in third by Persian Force, but clear of the field is Little Big Bear, dominates another renewal of the Keeneland Phoenix for Aidan O'Brien.
Unfortunately, a foot injury incurred on the day of that impressive success meant we did not see him take part in the autumn 2-year-old Group 1s, but his performance in 2022 have whetted racing fans' appetites for what is to come next season.
Well, no stranger to awards or to breeding Group 1 horses, and also representing his son, the recipient of this award is the legend Tim Hyde Sr. Great also to see Trish Hyde here tonight, and please pass on our congratulations to the young fella too. What exciting times ahead for little Big Bear, and of course what a wonderful season for No Nay Never. So many Group 1 winning juveniles. Hopefully Aidan O'Brien can give a thumbs up that all is going well with him for this season, and our best wishes to all connections. Thanks also to you, Tony, for travelling to be with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Hyde. It's time to welcome, for the 3-year-old Filly of the Year award, time to welcome Freddie Powell, I should say, from Arcana to the stage. I'd like to point out that we're not related, I wish. And our thanks to Eric Hoyo and Freddie for your continuing love for this evening. And your award goes to a filly who sparkled when it meant most on a classic day at the Curragh.
Founded in 1962 by Walter Hefner, Moidler Stud and Maynooth is known the world over for their constant loyalty and unwavering faith in their founding bloodlines. This has paid dividends on frequent occasions for the stud farm at the highest level. The stud is now in the excellent hand of Walter's daughter Eva, and on what is their landmark 60th year, it is appropriate that Moidler's homebred filly, Homeless Songs, is our 3-year-old filly of the year. The daughter of Frankel announced herself as a classic contender when she quickened from the rear with an impressive turn of foot to win the 1,000 guinea trial at Leopardstown.
Pennine Hills, Homeless Songs and Contarelli Chapel, but skipping 3 lengths clear with a furlong to go is Agartha. Coming out of the pack is Homeless Songs, and Homeless Songs comes to press Agartha. Then Sacred Bridge, Sagami and Villanova Queen stays on from the back of the field, but it's Homeless Songs the leader going towards the line. Homeless Songs makes a winning return in the Ballylynch Proudy Bell 1000.
The promise shown on that start was fulfilled when she produced the best Irish 1,000 guineas performance of the last decade. After settling in her customary position towards the back of the field, she moved smoothly through the pack before quickening away from her rivals to win impressively, beating Tuesday by 5 lengths.
Mal, as they race to the final furlong, and with a sweeping run, it's Homeless Songs who's come from the back of the field under Chris Hayes to draw away as they run up towards the finish. It's Homeless Songs winning Dermot Well, the landmark 20th Curragh Classic in the Tattersall's Irish 1,000 guineas.
Like her female ancestors before her, Homeless Songs will be a glittering addition to the Moidler Stud Broodmare band for generations to come.
I was fed up with the fantasy. What you wanna do? Think I'm ready? Ooh, think you like that? Think you like that? When I clap back like that, let me know.
Well, travelling from Switzerland to join us this evening, it's always a delight to welcome the owner of Moidler Stud, Eva Maria Buscher-Hafner. And of course, the second award winner on the night, trained by Dermot Weld. Homeless Song joins Search for a Song as a second champion in recent years Dermot has produced for Moidler, one of his longest standing owners. And as Brendan pointed out, Moidler too had an anniversary year this year, 60 years since its foundation by Eva's father, Walter. How lucky we are in Ireland to have such dedicated supporters. Well done, Eva and all the team at Moidler. And of course, our best wishes to Freddie and the team for the upcoming sales in Arcana. The 3-year-old Colt of the Year award. And another long-standing sponsor with us is Sean Barrett Bloodstock. And John Barrett is on hand, I hope, to hand over the trophy for the best 3-year-old colt. This is another repeat, and last year I recall meeting the breeder who enjoyed the evening so much, he said he hoped to be back. Well, he got his wish.
The Sangster family are no strangers to the Irish Thoroughbred Breeders Awards success, and neither is their homebred colt, Luxembourg. A joint winner of the 2-year-old Colt Award in 2021, the son of Camelot can add another trophy to their mantelpiece as the 3-year-old Colt of the Year. Winner of the Group 1 Futurity Trophy at the back end of his 2-year-old career, Luxembourg missed his intended target in the Derby due to a muscular injury, but he made a winning reappearance in the Royal Whip Stakes after over 100 days off the track.
Odds-on favourite Luxembourg strikes the front with the filly Insinuendo coming with a big run on the outside. It's stride for stride Luxembourg and Insinuendo. They're going to the line. Luxembourg's just made it.
Irish Champion Stakes is one of the top races run around the world, and Luxembourg followed that run with a breathtaking performance in the Leopardstown Group 1 under a vintage Ryan Moore ride.
It's Ernesto in between Luxembourg. Stone Age up the rail is Vedini. Inside the final half furlong. On the outside is Mishra. And it's Luxembourg getting up in the Irish Champion Stakes from Ernesto Vedini in third.
A pulled muscle in very soft ground was responsible for a lackluster performance in his next start in the Arc, but Luxembourg remains in training next year, so the best could still be to come.
Well, possessing one of the most iconic surnames in racing, it's great to have you back, Ben Sangster. Well, last year we couldn't split Luxembourg and Perfect Power, who shared the 2-year-old Colt Award. Now Luxembourg wins it outright as a 3-year-old. And as I said to Ben when we met earlier in the lift, maybe you'll come back again next year. We wish you well, and our thanks to John again for the award. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Sangster. Now, the final equine award of the night, and then we have two very, very special awards after that. This is the Stare of the Year award. Coolmore's MV Magnier will take special pleasure, no doubt, in making this presentation, and it is for a special horse who carried all before him in 2022, making him a horse of the year for many people.
Days aching, nights are long, 2 years and still you're not gone. Guess I'm still holding on.
This time last year, the name Kyprios was practically unknown to racing fans, but the Moidler stud-bred son of Galileo changed all that in 2022 when he took all before him in the staying ranks. Kyprios is the 8th black type winner out of the outstanding Blue Hen broodmare Polished Gem, alongside his Group 1 winning siblings Free Eagle and Search for a Song. And Moidler Stud's involvement with this fantastic family dates back almost 50 years to when they acquired his third dam, Talking Picture. Kyprios started his 4-year-old career with an easy success over his older sister, Search for a Song, in listed company at Navan on his first start over 1 mile, 6 furlongs.
It's Kyprios, the leader from Search for a Song, racing inside the final 150 yards. Kyprios and Ryan Moore in front, stretching away with the vintage crop. A super Saturday for Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore.
Trainer Aidan O'Brien quickly stepped him up in both trip and class, and Kyprios clearly impressed in doing so as he went off favourite for the Gold Cup at Royal Ascot, which he duly won.
Mojo Star from Kyprios. Stradivarius edging closer, but it's Kyprios who has the lead in the Gold Cup. Mojo Star and Stradivarius, and it's Kyprios for Ryan Moore who won the Gold Cup.
Well, I'll take all the vitriol.
Success over the mighty Stradivarius in the Group 1 Goodwood Cup followed, before he returned to home soil and dropped back in trip to win the Irish St. Leger.
They race to the final furlong. A bit of a break then, a search for a song and Ross Carberry. But in the lead is Kyprios from Hamish. There's a length and a half between them as they run up towards the final 100 yards. Kyprios, Aidan O'Brien's all-conquering stare. Capes his place on the top step of the Irish St. Leger.
The striking chestnut son of Galileo proved his versatility once again when he stepped back up and tripped on very soft ground on Arc Weekend in Longchamp, and he won by a breathtaking 20 lengths despite hanging in the final stages.
It's going to be a very wide margin victory for this fella. Kyprios then and Ryan Moore are well clear. He took a bit of a scare late on, but Kyprios has come to say hello to the crowd.
A perfect unbeaten season from the superstar Stair, and the long-distance Group 1s look his for the taking in 2023.
I'd rather hear how much you regret me.
What a special horse and what a special year. And for the second time tonight, and that is an achievement alone, this award goes to Moydlair Stud and Eva Hafner. Now, my thanks to MV for doing this, but I'm just going to ask MV and Eva to remain on the stage just for a moment, because I just want to pay tribute to the dam of Kyprios. He's from a family that has a long history of Moydlair Stud, almost matching the... I might turn that music down for a second. Just almost matching the time since the farm was founded. He's one of 3 Group 1 winners from the late Polished Gem, and she, of course, was a daughter of Dane Hill. But just consider this. Polished Gem had 10 foals, 10 runners, and 10 winners, and 8 of them were stakes winners. Half of the stakes winners out of her were sired by Galileo, including Kyprios in Search for a Song, and of course she had 3 Group 1 winners. I know Polished Gem meant a lot to Ava and the team at Moydlair, and I think this was an appropriate time to pay tribute to that great mare, and our congratulations to Moydlair and Eva again. I will invite Horse Racing Ireland's Suzanne Eade, along with Irish Thoroughbred Marketing's Charles O'Neill, to join us for the penultimate award of the evening. Initiated relatively recently, the Wild Geese Trophy has been one of the most popular innovations from the awards team. I hope that the internet cables between the United States and Ireland don't melt with the number of people who will be tuning in this evening from Kentucky to watch this lovely tribute to a great couple.
The Wild Geese Award recognises the successes and efforts enjoyed by Irish people in bloodstock industries worldwide, and this year we salute a truly special couple, David and Anne Hanley. Born in Mayo, David became an international show jumper and eventer at an early age, but through a chance meeting with Murray MacDonald, he started training in County Kildare, and high-class success swiftly followed.
I've known the Hanleys since the mid-80s. I knew David and Anne when they were living in Churchtown House Stud near Strafford, County Kildare, and he was training horses there on the farm, and he would load them up on the truck to go to the Curragh to breeze them and bring them back.
I know David and Anne since they moved to the Curragh, and David was training, and I had started my business, and he gave me some fillies to spell and look after when they were on a break. And very quickly I realised what an amazing professional he was, because these fillies were just on a holiday, but he kept on top of them all the time. They had to be looked after in a certain way and go back to him in a certain condition. I really admired that, and I actually learned an awful lot from David. He won't even remember this, but I did.
David, in my mind, is probably the best judge of a horse I've ever been around. He started out riding show jumpers for Iris Kellett back in the late 70s, and then he went on to compete at the international level in Germany, Holland, France and Brussels, and he was a star show jumping rider.
It's wonderful to see David and Anne being recognised for their contribution to the horse business, and if, you know, I feel to the community at large. David, you know, he's the ultimate horseman.
He was very successful in Ireland, operating a small stable but with a huge level of success. He trained a very good filly that he bought as a yearling called Golden Apples, who came over here and was a multiple Grade 1 winner here in the States, and then was sold on to Shadwell as a broodmare.
Known David since his time training on Strafford Hill, and then see him coming over here in the early 2000s and developing from a very, very talented pinhooker into running probably one of the most successful farms in Kentucky.
His move to America, while he was certainly missed from the Irish scene, has been equally successful, though he now spends the majority of his time in a key position on a very significant Kentucky farm.
It's, you know, for a farm like Windstar Farm to give him the leeway to make the decisions at that level, it speaks volumes of David's ability, and the results are shown on the racetrack every day.
He has been an integral part of the Windstar team, including Elliot Walden, in the selection process of some of the best racehorses we have seen in recent years.
It is Justify in front. Good Magic on the outside. Tenfold. Bravazzo. Justify. He's unstoppable. He won the Preakness. He's just awesome. Justify has won the Kentucky Derby. He's just perfect. And now he's just immortal. Justify is the 13th Triple Crown winner.
David, to work with you at Windstar and the contribution that you've had in helping us pick out Justify and Life is Good, and is extremely instrumental. And it's also a great honor to work with you and call you a friend.
David has been really great for Windstar Farm, how he's done, the things he's done with us, and how he's really moves around with everything. And he's just really been a blessing for me and my family and Windstar Farm.
I mean, everybody will have spoken about him tonight and said, you know, what he's achieved, but I wasn't surprised, because his professionalism, his innate horsemanship, he wasn't just a pinhooker, he wasn't just a buyer of horses. He can and could always identify a yearling that would become a good racehorse and now great stallions. But by his side always was lovely Anne.
David as a human is one of the nicest, calmest, most disciplined people I've ever met in my life. You know, they call this the Wild Geese Award. There's nothing wild about David. And Anne, there's another story. You know, there's a wild streak in her for sure.
I mean, you want to know her. I love the fact that I know Anne Handley. She's fun, she's gorgeous, she's great company. Her welcome is amazing. I just love her.
Anne is an inspiration to everybody that has had the good fortune to cross her path. Anne spends most days in pain. She's got every excuse to be angry, but yet she's always got the biggest, warmest smile.
She's a rock of courage. I only wish that I could have the same fortitude and courage that Anne has showed through all these difficult years of fighting Parkinson's. But she's always got a smile on her face. She's positive thinking. She lives for her family. They're a great family, and she's done so much for so many people. She raised a lot of money, and her heart is as big as Texas.
She got the whole industry to rally behind her, to raise capital, to fund the projects that she sees as the future, the projects that are going to effectively deal with the disease that she has lived with for so many years now. She is so focused on helping other people.
Anne, your courage to come to America, to do what you've done in the last 15 years with Parkinson's, and the help that you've done with so many people, including my own family members who have Parkinson's, is just incredible.
It's just amazing what she has done and how hard she works at it and everything. And it has really been something just talking to her about it and seeing the things she's doing. And I just want to congratulate both of them.
David and Anne, they've always been great mentors for Irish people who come over here. They've always looked out for people, too many people probably to name or remember. I'm delighted that they're getting this award. It's very fitting that they're getting the award, the Wild Geese Award.
Oh, well, I do think this is significant. I'm delighted to be able to congratulate him on it. And quietly, they will be proud of it.
I'm really proud to have been asked to say a few words about them here tonight because they are the epitome of this amazing award. I love this award. I think it was a great concept by the ITBA. And I know what it means to young people when they go to places like America to have a contact like David and Anne. My own son is out there. David has taken him under his wing, brought him to sales. I mean, that means everything to Michael. And to all the young people who have been lucky enough to know the David and Annes, the Jerry Dilgers, the Pat Costellos, the Ashlings, I mean, how lucky are they? So I'm really happy to say the few words and to wish them huge congratulations and to say that I hope life continues to be good.
David and Anne have left their mark behind them wherever they've been. Both high achievers and both loved by their colleagues and peers. They have been truly wonderful ambassadors for Ireland throughout the years.
Ladies and gentlemen, they're glamorous, warm, kind people. I cannot think of anyone more deserving of this award. I know they'll be cheered loudly to the stage, so please welcome David and Anne Hanley. We will get a couple of words now with both of them in a few minutes, but in the meantime we'll get the photographs out of the way. And you can see what everybody means but when they say glamorous. The epitome of it, Anne. Now I'm going to come over here and have a word with you. Wow. Some tributes there, very well deserved. Plenty of people with lumps in their throats, including myself. Can I ask you what this means to you both?
Well, it's been an amazing honor to be given this award. but particularly because it's been voted on by the Irish Thoroughbred Breeders, who I hold in the highest regard. And you know, secondly, I think it's a great award because I take great pride in watching all the young Irish people that come to America, see them work so hard, and then achieve their goals. So it gives them something to look towards, and I think it's a great honor for anybody to be recognized in that way.
It must be special as well to accept it with this wonderful lady.
Absolutely. I mean, what can I say? I'm the luckiest man alive to have this lady here as my wife.
I had a bit of a flashback there when I was watching that Golden Apples Gowran Park maiden winner about 2021. And you bred her with James Egan, I remember, in Corduff. And then you sold her, and almost immediately she turns up in Del Mar and wins a Grade 1 for Gary Tanaka. How did you feel about that and watching her develop after that?
Well, it was great that she went on to be successful. James Egan and I had a great time together. We had a lot of success together. James is a wonderful horseman, a great breeder, and most of all, we had great fun doing everything we did together, and I have great respect for James. He helped me a lot.
I mean, she, as I say, she was very special. She was also, I think, in your last year training here in Ireland.
That's correct, yes. She was, we had her, we bred her. Couldn't sell her as a yearling. She was big, backward, in the first crop of Pivotal, who at the time stood for like 5,000. And, you know, she didn't show much as a 2-year-old, but in the spring of her 3-year-old year, she really started to get strong and get high energy. And we ran her first time out in Tipperary, and very soft ground, so I had my apprentice at the time, Jerry O'Dwyer, ride her because didn't want her to have a hard race. And she got beat a nose by a very good filly of John Ox's with Johnny Murta on. So we knew we had something special. And then next time out, she won by 8 or 9 lengths at Gowran. And then Pat Smullen rode her at Gowran Park again. She slipped up badly coming out of the gate and hurt her back and came back very sore on her back. So then we got that fixed up with our physios, and we ran her in the Pretty Pollies. And John Egan rode her, and we said, you know, it would be great to get black type, so ride her to be 3rd or try and be 2nd. And she was 3rd, and he said, you know, man, if I rode her to win, I might have won. so then we sold her, and Gary Tanaka said they wanted to run her in the Del Mar Oaks, and would I train her for the race? And so we did, and she shipped out there and won the Grade 1. And Ben Cecil did a tremendous job with her, and she went on to become an Eclipse Award-winning champion mare. So it was all good.
Now, my other memory, I remember asking John Fowler years ago, you know, why he had such great success with fillies, and he said because he couldn't afford geldings, which wasn't the answer I wanted to hear. But you had a lot of success as well with fillies. Ladana, remember, and Coney Kitten.
Coney Kitty, yes.
Yeah, Coney Kitty, yes,
Yes,
indeed,
yes.
yeah. What's the secret of success?
I had a lot of fillies. I couldn't afford to buy colts.
So I gave you the answer.
Ladana was the most amazing filly. She was an absolute tiger. And the biggest challenge we had was to keep the lid on her and not let her overdo it. And she was just a tremendous filly. We were very lucky to have her. And like Inga Bell, John O'Connor bought her, bred a couple of stakes horses out of her, and one of her daughters produced a Grade 1 winner. So she was a successful brood.
And I suppose that just typifies the small parish that this business is, that, you know, everybody here tonight will remember that. Now, I'm going to come over to this wonderful lady. I'm lost for words to describe you, so I had to write something down. And I suppose I'm lost for words, the courage you show every day. And I know that certain terms are loosely thrown about, but for me, 2 words spring to mind when I think of you. You're a lady and you're an inspiration. How are you feeling tonight?
Wonderful. Usually you're dead when you get all these compliments. So I'm thinking, I'm pinching myself and saying, am I really here tonight? This award is so very special to us both. We really appreciate it and are grateful. So many people helped us along the way, but in particular on my journey, I'm so happy to have Jim and Gerine here with me. You helped me too in the beginning, in the early stages. I'd like you to know that in the early days, I thought, how would I raise 10 grand for research? Well, the fund is at about 4 million today. And it kicked off with you guys helping me, Jim, Ger, Magners, Coolmore, Goffs, Emer was tremendous. You remember the sale?
Yeah.
That kicked off 180,000, I think, and from there it just soared and continues to grow. We have over 75 people with brain surgery now. I'm 16 years into my diagnosis. They told me originally I'd have a 10-year lifespan, but I'm here today, testament to the help I've had along the way, the research we fund, the research we continue to fund, and thankfully the University of Kentucky has this unusual research where we implant nerve grafts into the brain. And I've been lucky to be one of the recipients. So I also love to help patients, and people who are newly diagnosed reach out to me because I walk in their shoes. I'm able to help them, give them a hand, and let them realize there is life after Parkinson's diagnosis.
Well, you are... He says he's the luckiest man alive to have met you, and I tend to agree with him. What have you to say about himself?
Well, if he remembers, he didn't have to look too far. I chased him and lived down the road. I lived down the road a mile from him. I was knee-high to a grasshopper when I set my cap at him, and that was it. He couldn't escape.
Well, I have to say, one wonderful outcome of that, of course, is family. And I'm delighted to say that David and Anne's son, Ben, 2 days ago, became engaged. So our congratulations and best wishes to him. Ladies and gentlemen, glamour, goodness, kindness, it's David and Anne Hanley. With me for a moment. Now, a small but very important piece of housekeeping before I go on with the final award of the evening. All of the award winners, you must go straight to the reception after the final presentation for the traditional group photograph. Now, I have to say I've rarely looked forward to an award as much as I am to this one. Cathy Grassick and Minister Charlie McConalogue will present one of the most coveted accolades in our industry. On your table, you'll see a full list of past inductees to the ITBA's Hall of Fame, and it truly is a who's who of the industry. What can I say about the new name on this impressive roll of honour? He is a doer, a giver, and never a taker. He has no ego, he is genuine. What you see is what you get. He's a deep thinker, a man who gets things done. He has made the world of difference,
And oh yes, I can call him a friend.
William Flood is a true gentleman of the turf, and while he has been highly successful as a breeder and stallion master in his own right over the years, his behind-the-scenes work on behalf of the Irish National Hunt industry has been colossal and indeed industry-changing.
When you look back over William's life and his voluntary work, completely voluntary, when you think of the voluntary contribution he's given to this industry, he really is somebody that has made a significant difference.
He is one of these people that is so straightforward. He is only interested in what's good for racing, and the frills and the trimmings don't interest William. Of all the people that's in the racing industry, if there was a problem tomorrow, or if I had a problem tomorrow, he'd be the first man that I would go to.
William Flood is a legend, an exceptional person, unique, and as I say, I don't think anybody else has put in the hours and the hard graft that he has done for decades now.
William has a great sense of what is right and wrong. He's very conscientious. He just wants to do the job 110%.
You cut William Flood, he bleeds Turf Club. If the Turf Club ever paid William Flood for the work he did, they couldn't afford him. You know, I mean, I just don't know where he got the time to do it and run Boards Mill.
My grandfather Jack would have stood the first thoroughbred stallion here. That was in 1935. Before that, there would have been a lot of draft horses and a bit of everything going on, the usual typical old farm at the time. 1935 was the first thoroughbred stallion. So we stood the thoroughbred stallions right through from then till now. Dad would have took over the mantle from him. Yeah, did a lot of, there was successful stallions here from pretty much from the start. There was a couple of actual French bred stallions, Jacours, Trouville. In the 70s then, a very successful stallion called Chu Chin Chow, who made it on kind of every level. Like he sired sports horses that competed in the RDS, and he'd an Arkle winner. And then continued on, I suppose. Probably the real success came in the 80s with Furry Glen and Orchestra. You still see their names kind of carrying on now as broodmare sires, like, so they were probably the real big ones that changed the game.
He's done this now for a lifetime, and all the while developing one of the best National Hunt stallion studs in the country.
It's great to see the success Boards Mill, and they're a constant in the National Hunt scene. And I'd say they're great for the small breeder.
When William first got involved in the ITBA and the various organisations he's worked with over the years, the National Hunt sector really was the poor relation. You know, breeding National Hunt horses was an add-on to the on-farm activity. It really wasn't an industry in itself. And he set out to improve that situation. And, you know, if you think of where the National Hunt racing and breeding was when William first got involved, let's say, and where it is now, it's unrecognisable. It's absolutely unrecognisable. William worked tirelessly to see the introduction of the £7 fillies allowance, and that has made racing fillies and mares competitive again. And we've seen in the last number of years the emergence of so many great fillies and mares, and so much of that success for me is attributed to William.
And with the ITBA developed the fillies scheme, which has proven itself over the many years now. And I suppose at the moment we see such an explosion in the numbers of good quality race mares on the track, and there's no better answer to the question, did we need it? Yes, we did, and it needed somebody like William to drive it forward.
He has given tirelessly of himself, often to probably disadvantage to himself at times, always being away from home, being away from the farm, just working for the common good of the breeding industry, and in the National Hunt sector particularly.
He's given back so much to the industry. And I say that in the context of he has been on the board of Navan for many years. He was on the board of HRI. He was on many subcommittees in HRI. He was senior steward of the National Hunt Committee twice. He has served on many committees within the IHRB and the Turf Club, and he is currently chairman of the Point to Point Committee. So for everything William has benefited from the industry, he has given so much back, and all on a voluntary basis, including all the stewarding he does on an annual basis.
The range of activities he's been involved in over the years, whether on the racing front and then the breeding front. He served on just about every committee, every board that's worth serving on in our business. And as I say, he's always done it without an ego, without it being about him. It's always been about the business.
Navan would be finished only for the likes of Jimmy Owens, Eddie Campbell and William Flood. Without people like that, Navan would be dead and buried a long time ago.
He's just so dedicated. William loves Navan Racecourse, absolutely loves it. So when it's a question of Navan Racecourse or anything else, Navan Racecourse wins.
Total family man. I've had the good fortune to spend quiet time with William, and always very proud when he talks about them, talks about their achievements. Of course, he works on a daily basis with John. I'm not sure who the boss is now, but I'm sure William thinks he is, and I'm sure John thinks he is too. But he's very much a family man.
Oh, marvellous family man. Barbara is a wonderful wife, and as he says himself, she's too good for me. But anyway, and sure, he's a great family, wonderful people. They're no wonder they are, because they're marvellous parents.
It's been a privilege to know William Flood. It's been a real privilege to work with him over the years. And I have to say, I don't think there's anybody more deserving of this award tonight than William.
There's so much now that's good about the National Hunt business that owes its achievements to William.
There's never any self-agenda for anything that he wanted for his business or anything. It was just for the greater good of the industry and the Irish breeder.
I see him as a mentor, I see him as a good friend, and I see him as somebody who has the in-depth knowledge in the industry to assist in making good decisions in terms of what we have to try and do on the regulatory side.
Have a look over him in the crowd. He'll be cringing. He'll hate this. But as soon as he settles in and has his gin and tonic or his beer, he'll relax and enjoy the night. And I hope he does, because this is very much deserved. And I couldn't think of a better inductee into the Hall of Fame. And I couldn't be more proud of the man and delighted that I can call him my friend.
William's work and achievements over the years, on behalf of the National Hunt breeders in particular, has been immense, and his induction into the Hall of Fame is fully deserved as one of the greats of the Irish National Hunt industry.
Your Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, this gives me the most enormous pleasure. Please be upstanding for William Flood. Fantastic, and not going to let you get away. Congratulations. You're not doing a Gay O'Callaghan on me. I don't think you jumped the table anyway. You'll be all right. We're fair enough. Congratulations.
Would Ger Lyons be right, or you mortars?
I'll be talking to him tomorrow.
It's not too many people now that would bring a lump to the throat of Ger Lyons when he's talking about them. The admiration he has for you, coupled with the admiration of just everybody else on that film, says a lot. How are you feeling about all those tributes?
Well, I must say, Eamon's words were very nice, very fitting. Ger is like myself. He could say yes to you, or he could say no to you and blast you into hell and out of it the same as I could. So I take what Ger says with a grain of salt, but he was good. He has his sense of humour, which I like.
Absolutely. Well, it is a unique sense of humour.
Well, he's a genuine man as well. Don't forget that now.
Couldn't agree more with you. I suppose I'd ask you how, I hope you appreciate how deeply respected you are in the business, how indebted the business is to you. And I think that comes out in that piece. But just take me back in time. Was there ever any other path for you other than to follow your dad into Boards Mill? And I know from private conversations with you, he was definitely your first hero.
Yes. Well, if I could go back to 3 or 4 weeks ago when I learned I was getting this award, I nearly collapsed because it wasn't what I was looking for. And in the meantime, I've been thinking about life and thinking about what has happened over the years. And at the same time, I was saying if I can do half as much in the next 20 years as I've done in the last 30 years, I wouldn't be going too bad. But
Dad was definitely...
Yeah, no, the one thing I would have to say is my dad is the basic instigator of everything I did. And he didn't have an easy life himself, but he was a genuine farmer, farming stock, who loved his horses and managed to get a living out of it without any side income. And he certainly gave me something that I'm happy to hope I have, and that was integrity, honesty, and dealing with people in a fair way. Not that I can be pushed over now, but I like to play a fair game.
Well, I'm thinking back to days when I used to sit down with you, my poor student days of being in the industry, helping you with the stud cards, putting the information together long before we could access Weatherby's or computers or whatever, which was great fun. And I'll have to say that word integrity is at the heart, I think, of everything you do and everything I've ever seen you do. And I just often wonder, do you spend any time thinking of anything else other than the business, whether it's Boards Mill or whether it's the greater business?
Well, not too much, but at the same time, I have to thank my father for wherever I've sort of finished up or carried on. He certainly was the inspiration to me on the basis that, without dwelling on it, but myself and my sister Nolene, who's here tonight, our mom died when I was 3 and she was 1.5. And Dad looked after us perfectly well and looked after his entire family very well. And he instilled into me sort of the good and the bad and what not to do and to do. But I always remembered, and if I have a decision to make sometimes, even over many years, I would always say, would my dad have liked that, or which way would he have decided I should go? And it has been an influence. And I was lucky then after that, in that when his time went and he passed away, I was lucky to luckily fall across my darling wife, Barbara. And she has been equally as important in the last number of years as well.
where it left me with the time, but I'd never looked on doing any of these things I heard about tonight. It was just a way of life, unlike what younger people have got to deal with today, where they have a 5-day week to do, and then they have to go home and mind the kids for the weekend, and they haven't got a minute to themselves. But I was blessed between Dad and Barbara to be able to give that extra bit of time to doing things that I thought was normal. It was just a way of life. It wasn't anything other than that. And I must say I enjoyed every minute of it. And, you know, I've had very good friends telling me at different stages, I mean, it's not good it doesn't flow easy for everybody all the time. But I remember at times when things might have got a little bit tough now and again, I'd have had people coming to me and saying, would you not be better off at home on your farm than arsing around these organisations, you know? And I would have thought about it, but I wouldn't have thought too much about it. But on reflection, I don't think I missed out. I think I gained from doing what I did, you know, and got great pleasure and satisfaction out of it.
Well, you've certainly built lots of friendships and as I say, the respect of the industry. You've been involved in many facets of the industry. Is there any one thing in either the breeding side or the racing side that you sit down and it comes to mind as being maybe your proudest moment, your greatest achievement, the thing you've got most pleasure from?
I suppose you mentioned it earlier, it was nice to get the National Hunt Fillies allowance at the time, and David Pym was senior steward at the time, and I don't know, he didn't take maybe that much influence, but it was done at the time anyway, and we'll have to thank him for that. And again, the more recent thing is the Fillies bonus scheme, which is again a help and been very well received. But equally, I've enjoyed everything else. I really enjoyed it. I enjoy life. I've enjoyed my course, as the chairman of Navan has said to you there. Navan has been a big part of my life as well, but so has everything else. I mean, HRI, it was a pleasure at the time, particularly on the committees, programming, fixtures, pattern and all that jazz. Turf Club, the same. National Hunt, stewarding end of it. ITBA, not forgetting the ITBA. I just enjoyed everything, and what I always found was, and there could be flip-overs, but when you're at a meeting of the ITBA, National Hunt, whatever, Fillies, or whether you with Navan, but you had to deal and give your views from that body's perspective at the time, even though it might have had negative effects for some of your other interests, but you had to do what you felt was best for the board and the committee you were sitting on at the time. And
well, I suppose that's where integrity comes in again, that you have to be clear in your head how you're working.
Well, yeah, you know, but I mean, it's nice. You can only sleep in one bed at night, and if you sleep in one bed and you can go to sleep without anything annoying you, I mean, that's fine.
Well, I know that your family means the world to you. You've worked with lots of great people. I mean, again, it would be, as Princess Zara said, like picking your favorite children. But are there people that you've enjoyed working with more than others? Or we won't ask you about the people you didn't enjoy working with so much.
Well, very, very few. You might have the odd difference now and again. But on that basis, I couldn't mention names because I've come across some tremendous people in all bodies. But if I could just mention two people who hopefully might be listening in tonight, and that is, and they were both Irish National Hunt Committee people, is John Paul down in Neenah, and the other is Leslie Crawford up in Antrim. And I would just like to acknowledge them as being very good people to be involved in. Now look, I could mention plenty of others, starting with Jimmy Owens here. I see Richard Little over there, who's a manager in Navan. I could go through oodles of people, but I'd only embarrass someone else or offend someone if I didn't mention them. So I'm not going to mention anyone else. But from my perspective, it was all about the people that were around me in committees, even if I happened to be chairman of this, that or the other, it was a consensus, and 2 heads is always better than 1, and 3 heads is better than 2. So that was my principle of getting a handle on things, and we'll take it from here.
Well, I've worked with you on a number of issues. You're always methodical, well prepared. You never, give an off-the-cuff decision. You are a deep thinker, as I said. You're a friend. You're a most worthy recipient of the Hall of Fame, our 27th inductee to the Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, William Flood. Well, Your Highnesses, ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing more to say now except congratulate our 27th inductee, with the formal part of the evening now done and dusted. Shortly you'll be able to dance the night away to DJ Stuart Quinn. Afterwards, definitely go to the residence bar to Mark Wynn, and we'll see you there. For now, it's just for me to say well done to all our award winners. A thank you to all our sponsors, and wish you all a safe, healthy and happy 2023. Good night and keep winning.